So last night, I was watching a YouTube video about the death of photography. And the, the presenter was complaining that because of AI, artificial intelligence, there isn't really any need for photographers anymore. And it's particularly, he meant as a career, as a specific skill set. And the reason why this photographer was complaining is because now there's these new AIs which can actually composite pictures better than you can take them. So I'm going to show you how it works, because I thought, nah, rubbish. It's really interesting. All right, so let me share my screen so you can see. All right, so today we're looking at content, and obviously our Moodle courses, I've had a look at some of them. They're looking very wordy. They don't look very exciting. And I think part of the reason is because we're tending to focus specifically on text. But when we're talking about e-learning and online learning and blended learning, the digital content doesn't have to be only text-based. So it can be more than PDFs. It can be more than written labels, etc. And so it can be video, it can be pictures, it can be interactivity, etc., etc. So what I want to show you on the screen at the moment is how you can use artificial intelligence to create the very image that perhaps you can't get hold of. So I'm in a little program called discord.com. Really, it's a place where people of similar mindsets go and contribute and share materials, etc. But the particular thing I'm interested in is this community called Midjourney. All right, so I've created an account and I have logged in. Let me make this a little bit bigger so I can see what I'm doing. And so this community has a special little artificial intelligence which allows you to generate interesting things. So I'm going to demonstrate. Let's go and say, imagine, I don't know if you can see down the bottom, but it says imagine, and it says, okay, imagine what? So I'm looking for an image. I'm looking for some content to do with the Seychelles. I would like it to be about computers. I would like it to be like a photo realistic. Did I spell that correct? I would like it to be in light blue. I would like it to include fish. This is the weird thing. You could be as bizarre as you want to be, and it'll have a go at trying to create an image for you. I would like it to have flowers. All right, let's see what it comes up with. So then it has a think, and what it does is it goes online and it looks at all the photographs that are out there, and it tries to composite something. We're this one here, so don't get confused. We're this one here. It'll try and composite something that is a combination of lots and lots of different images into one. So it's generating 4 ideas at the moment, and you're going to decide, are you interested in those 4? Would you like it to come up with a variation? At the moment, I don't see lots of computers, but I am seeing fishes and flowers, and I'm seeing light blue. Give it a bit longer. We've popped down to the other one. Where's our one gone? Oops, sorry. Here's ours. No, I want more technology than that. I think it's too much nature. All right, so let's try that again. So I'm going to go imagine. What's my prompt? So I want computer technology. I want it to be, let's go steampunk. I want it to be with fish and flowers and light blue. And let's say it must be right. And yeah, let's see what that gives us. Okay, 35 is having a longer think. Oops, hang on. Where's ours gone? No, ours is up here. Okay, this one's looking interesting. This one, whoops, it's popped out again. We're sharing the space with a couple of other people. That's why we keep popping out. Let's have some variations on number 1. We like number 1s, but we want more like that one. So now it's going to use that first one to generate more content. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to go and I want more information about, I want a clearer vision of number 1. So this one over here. So I can say, start rendering number 1. All right, so last night, let me just show you what I was doing for my Zambia people. And you can see the weird things it made for me there. So I'm going to just go to iCloud. We're just going to have a look at some of the pictures I saved. So what I was saying yesterday was I want a image which would be like African. So I wanted an African motif. I wanted to use certain colors of the Zambian flag. And I wanted to come up with futuristic computers, but looking like African. So it got this one. Let me just see if you are seeing what I'm seeing. Let me just quickly check my Zoom. And reshare the screen. All right, so this is what it finally came up. It came up with a whole load of different options, of which I thought this one was the coolest one. So it is developing like an image. It's using the Zambian flag colors. It's trying to come up with a futuristic but African technology look. It's kind of made like a carving of a keyboard and a laptop screen, perhaps. It was doing that by going onto the internet, looking at all the different pictures which hit my criteria, and then it composited these pictures. So this is a little scary and a little exciting because it's not a human doing this. This is AI trying to work all these out. All right, what did it finally come up with for us? Let me get back to the one that it was building for us. Let's have a look. It finally built this for us. So let's have a look at that. I'm going to share my screen again, just make sure you're seeing the right thing. All right, so we asked for fish and flowers, but we wanted it as technology, and so it made this piece of art for us here, using the criteria that we put in. So what do people think? Oh, let's have a look, open the original, let's see. There we go, nice and big. Let's pull it down a bit smaller. There we go, hopefully you can see that. What do people think? Okay, is this a load of rubbish? Is this the future? What do people think? Let's have some comments from you guys now. You can put your hand up, or you can just, there's so few of us, you can key your mic. What do you think? Do you think AI is going to replace artists and photographers and so on? What did you think of our one? Gina? Yeah, what do you think?
Oh, yes, sir. I was just putting on my microphone. Good evening. Yes, I think that it would be impossible to replace the human eye.
Yeah.
Okay, the things that the human eye can do, it cannot be done by an AI. So they will develop a new tech that will try maybe to make our life easier in designing, but then sitting or standing behind the camera is a much better experience. So I don't think they will replace it. They will try, but it will be impossible.
Well, I was amazed at the quality of this early first generation. And I think part of it is up to me to come up with some good descriptive words. I don't think I described it very well this afternoon. Yeah, I think Shorter agrees with you. She says, it's interesting indeed, but I don't think it can replace real life picture. All right, so a proper photograph. All right, what do others think? Tony, what do you think? Can your AI going to replace all of us photographers?
It has a good quality. You hear me?
Yes, I can. We can hear you. Good quality, you said.
It has good quality, but it can never replace the originality of pictures.
So you guys are all sticking up for the humans. You don't think the AI is going to get better and better and better at making images? Okay, and let's go with Farouk. What do you think? You're lying on your side. Farouk, you there? I see Vicky says, it's cool, definitely not going to replace the natural eyes. And Lena says, great creativity, but not the original piece of work. And she's right in saying that it's a composite. It's a composite of all the different images that are available online. Because you know about Google image search, hey? Let me just do that very quickly. You share my screen because we already can do this and have been for some time. Share the screen. I'm just going to share that whole screen to share. There we go. And let me just move. All right. So at the moment, if we want an image, we just go images.google.com. You know this, eh? And from here, you can then say, I want a picture of Seychelles beaches. All right, and you'll see here it comes, all the different beaches, boom, like that. So to find images is easy enough, and there is an enormous repository of lots and lots and lots of images that we can use. All right, so we can click on here. Oh, that looks really cool. We can go visit the original site, go see what it looks like, and here they come. All right. Yeah, that's where I was the other day. That's nice. So in terms of actual images, that's fine. Creating something new is what the AI was trying to do, is really compositing all of these different types. All right. So that's, keep in mind then that you've got lots. The nice thing about the internet is there's so many pictures that you can actually use. So in terms of content, it doesn't have to be text based. We've got lots and lots going on. Gina says, can boost creativity taken from the human. And Joyce says, it is amazing. It can be used if you cannot draw and require an image instantly. It can enhance creativity. And that's what some of the other YouTubers were saying on the things I was watching. They were saying it's a good starting point. You can ask the AI to come up with some ideas, and then you can build on top of those. So it's not like the AI is going to replace you, but it can actually do stuff that perhaps you hadn't even an imagination for, or you didn't have the skills for. And that's my thing. I like to think I'm creative, but I'm not a good drawer. I can't draw or create stuff. All right. That's all this rubbish. Go away. All right. So, right. So today then we're looking at different types of content. And the first thing I want you to just alert you to is that not all content can just be taken. So I've just shown you image search for Google. Let me come back. Oops, let's go over here. All right, I've just showed you. Let me make this a bit smaller. So images.google.com. And you'll notice that when you type in something, for example, Victoria Seychelles, for example. So it pulls up all of these pictures, but one of the problems with these pictures is a lot of them are copyrighted. All right, so technically you can't use them without asking for permission. So say, for example, we wanted the clock as part of our thing. So you notice it says here, images may be subject, images may be subject to copyright. You see that there? Right, so it's warning you, be careful. You can't just take any old thing. You've got to keep your nose clean. You've got to think about copyright, and therefore you need to, it's all this rubbish, go away. You need to be careful which ones you choose. So let's say you wanted to now, you wanted to make sure that what you were choosing can be used for educational purposes. And there is a way. So I'm in Google at the moment. You can turn the tools on. Did you see that? The tools button. And you can say usage rights. Show me all the Creative Commons licenses. Now, Creative Commons is a licensing system. Those people who were part of my workshop the other day will know all this. But if you weren't there, then this is the secret way to make sure that you don't get sued, that you're playing by the rules, and that you are using openly licensed material. So you choose the Creative Commons licenses. Creative Commons are open licenses. And now it's saying these pictures you can use with pleasure. They are open. So here's a picture of the clock that we were looking for originally. We can go and have a visit the site where it is. Here it is, Victoria Clock Tower. It's a nice quality picture. And if we scroll down, it'll tell us the license, which is Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike. All right. So in the training this coming week, it will take you through some of the open Creative Commons licensing, which allows you to use those items for in your Moodle, and there's no repercussions. In fact, they're encouraging you. They want you to try that. All right. So part of the training for this coming week is to understand your Creative Commons licenses. I'm going to very quickly go through them. How many in the chat? Just tell me how many of you actually were in the workshop that we got today. How many were in my workshop that I ran a few weeks ago? Let's have a look at the Zoom chat. Shauna was, Vicky was, and Joycelyn was. All right, so they are already familiar with these Creative Commons licenses. We spent a bit of time on them, but I see Tony wasn't, and I'm sure, I don't remember some of you, the others of you that are in the session today. So I'm going to go very quickly through them, but it is part of the training in the week as well. So let me quickly show you. I'm just going to go. I'll go with this one here, nice and big. All right, so the story go. Oh, what's all this rubbish? Go away. Yeah, just nice and big. Hopefully you can see that. All right, so the story goes like this. We're all familiar with the C in the little circle. That is the all rights reserved, fully copyrighted. Okay, so when you see a C in a circle, it just means that you may do nothing with that resource without asking for permission. Okay. However, if you see CC, like the ones on the screen at the moment, that means Creative Commons, and that means some rights reserved. So it's saying that there are things you can do without having to ask for permission, without having to shell out any money, etc. And there are actually 4. I can simplify it a bit. Sorry. There are actually 4 rights. Here we go, this one here, 4 conditions. All right, so the first one is this orange one here. It's not normally orange, but it's normally black and white. The first one is attribution, and it simply means you can do whatever you like with this resource, but you must attribute, you must acknowledge, you must cite who is the original author or publisher of the work. Okay, so the little man there simply means it's quite often it's an author, it's a person. And so the by, by simply means who was the original by, who made it. All right, so that's attribution. The next one there is non-commercial. You can see it's got $1 with a sign through it, which means you can do whatever you like with that resource, but you may not make a profit from it. All right, so you have to make sure that the IP is not used in any way to generate you some type of a profit or income from it. The IP is free. Okay, so therefore you may not make money from it. The green one there is no derivatives, which simply means that you can do whatever you like with that resource, but you may not change it. It has to stay exactly as it is, which is I don't like. I tend to keep well away from no derivatives. I always want to fiddle. I always want to make it slightly different. I want it to suit my learners better. So that one there, no derivatives, simply means you've got to use it as is. And the fourth one, that blue one there, share alike, means that your new derivative, if you do change it and you create a new version of it, your new version, your derivative must have the same license as the original. All right, so if it was any of those ones we looked at earlier, these ones, if it has the SA in it, the share alike, it means you must use the same license. All right, so those 4 conditions or those 4 rights can be organized into combinations. And that's the 6 licenses on the screen there are the 6 most common combinations. So the first one in the top left corner is CC BY. It simply means you can do whatever you like with the resource, but you must attribute the origin. Okay. The one on the right, top right, means you can do whatever you like with the resource. You can make copies, you can hand it out to your class and your students and your colleagues, but you must attribute where it comes from. You may not make a profit from it. So you can't stick it on a CD-ROM and sell the CD-ROM. Who uses CD-ROMs these days? On a thumb drive and hand it out. And SA, share alike, meaning that if you make a derivative of that work, it's got to have the same, license. All right, so that's what that top right one. This one here, CC BY SA, means that you can use it, but you must license your derivatives with CC BY SA. This one here, CC BY ND, you may use it, but you may not change it. It has to stay exactly as it is, and you must acknowledge where it comes from. CC BY NC, you must use it in such a way that you don't make a profit from it and that you acknowledge where it comes from. And then this guy here, he's quite restrictive. He's better than full copyright, but he's only just a bit better. CC BY NC and D, you must attribute where it comes from. You may not make a profit. You may not change it. So you see, it's getting quite restrictive. So as an instructional designer, I like to play in this space here because it gives me a lot more latitude with what I can do with that resource. Okay, so keep that in mind then. When you are developing content, you might want to adapt an existing resource, but make sure it has an open license and make sure you understand what the open license says to you in terms of what you can do and what you can't do. All right. So if we look, for example, at this very cool, this is a course from the Open University. And if we scroll down and have a look at the license at the bottom, here is the Creative Commons license. It says, they've changed it. Where is it? It is, they hit it on this one, the one I want to show off. All right, let's find another one. So if we go and have a look here, and I go and have a look at this resource, for example, apparently it is Creative Commons. If I scroll down to the bottom, yep, there it is. There's the little license. In this instance, it's CC BY. All right, so keep that in mind, and you've got to know what those mean. And keep in mind then also that the more you are down this side, CC BY NCSA, CC BY ND, and CC BY NCND, the more you are down here, the more restrictive it is, the less open it is. So you really want to play up here because there's more latitude. All right. Okay. All right, sorry, that was very quick. And normally it takes people a little bit longer to get it. Are there any questions though? You will look at this again during the week. It's part of the learning materials when it takes you through step by step. All right, I'm looking at the chat at the moment. Any queries? Any hands up? Cool. All right. So obviously I went so fast, no one understood a word. So that's a bit sad. All right. Then next thing is, so how do you make content? So you can use Google and you can go search for your content. You can use the images. Let me just very quickly show you YouTube. You can use and adapt some of the YouTube ones as well. Okay, I'm in YouTube. I'm searching for Seychelles, Victoria. And I do a search, and then now all these videos are popping up of which people have made about the capital city of the Seychelles, etc. We even got horrible adverts here. And you can say yes, but if you were to look at them, you would find that most of these are fully copyrighted. So how do you make sure that you get only the ones that are openly licensed? You can click on the filters, and you can choose in the 4th column, Creative Commons. All right. Now, these ones are, so if you look at some of those, what's going on there? These ones are available with a Creative Commons license. So if we go and have a look, this one looks very picturesque. See, mine doesn't get on here, but okay. So if we go and have a look at this one here, Seychelles, we'll get past the advert, and where you see show more, you'll see down the bottom, it says the license is a Creative Commons. So this one we can go away. There we go, Seychelles 2019, very pretty. Right now, you might find you only want to use a little bit of this. You don't want to use the whole thing, but because it's Creative Commons, you can download it, you can cut it up into pieces, you can change the music, you can add your own bit in, etc., etc. So the nice thing then is that's the beauty of it being Creative Commons. Okay. So what happened to my one? Let me go. I'm sorry, I'm going to make sure you guys have a look. That doesn't like mine. Mine's nowhere. All right, okay, sad. Which one will go? Yeah, here's my one. Okay. So we'll have it forced. Cool. And if we have a look at the license, there we go, Creative Commons attribution. All right, so how do we make these videos and these images? All right, so that's one of the things I'm wanting you to do this week is, yes, go through all the theory and look at all that type of thing. We're going to, in a minute, we're going to look at your courses and see if we can splice them up a bit. But what I would like to see next week is some examples of some multimedia, some video, some images, some photos to supplement all the text that is appearing on your courses. All right. So let's see if I got a, there's a nice video. I'm going to show it to you now about how to video using your phone. Here she got. Here's the one I like. All right, so what I would like, let me show you what I'd like you to do for next week. So I would like you to use your phone, and I want you to create a 60-second introduction to your course. So let me just give you an example of what I'm looking for. I don't want cinema. I mean, you can, if you feel you're up to it, you can give me cinema, etc. But what I'm wanting really is something like this one. Let's turn that off so it looks a bit neater. So under welcome, I want you to put together a little video. So let's get going. How terrible. All right, you got the idea. So what I'm wanting you to do this week then is to have a look at the course that you're building. And I want you to think, okay, so we've already done our template. We already know our structure. We already know our outcomes. You can see my outcomes are appearing as little things on the screen there. You've already got some activities, etc. So you know the types of things that they're going to be doing. And I want you to try and generate some excitement. Now I'm a bit stiff because I'm no actor. All right. But so I want you to do it yourself. Now you don't need fancy cameras. I mean, if you've got fancy cameras, use them, but I want you to use your phone. All right. So, and then I want you to upload it into YouTube, and I want you to link it into your course. All right, so how do you do that? All right, so let's very quickly give you some tips. Let me write them on the screen. So, let me call it up, sorry. It's oercommons.org, and I want to look for video, I think it's video tips. Fine, let's have a look. Okay, it's this one. All right, can you see that on the screen? I'm hoping you can see the main points. This is my slide for this little section. So how do you create your video with your phone? All right, so first of all, how do you hold your phone? All right, so a couple of tips here is you must rather for YouTube, you must hold it. Whoops, it'll be this way for you guys. You got to hold it so that it's landscape. Don't film it like this. There's a reason that when you put it in YouTube, then if it's this way, YouTube puts big black boxes on either side of your vertical. So I want you to film it in horizontal. All right. Then the other trick is to keep it still. If it moves, unless the movement looks obvious, it looks amateurish. So the idea then is no shaking, keep it as still as possible. If you've got a little stand, stick it on the stand, or prop it up against a book or whatever. Obviously, you want to use the cameras on this side of your phone because these are the better cameras. The camera on this side is normally inferior to these ones. All right. Ideally, the camera needs to be positioned at eye level. So in my one, you can see that it's not looking down, it's not looking up, it's looking straight at the person who's watching the video. So you want your eyes to be on level with the person who's watching it. So you try and get it so that it's level. The reason why is if it's looking down, it looks like you are being authoritative and that you are talking down to people. And if it's looking, if you look up to them, then you look inferior. You look like, you don't really know, you don't really believe in yourself. All right, so that's why you want to have an equal footing. Your eye must be in line with the lens of the camera so that it's in line with the eyes of the viewer. Okay, if the subject is going to talk, then do a sound check. All right, so the trick then is do 1 or 2 little tests. Make sure that your sound is coming through clearly. There's nothing worse than everyone saying, what? What's he saying? Or what's she saying? Okay, so keep that in mind then. You want nice, clear sound. So how do you place the subject? So try not to film in direct sunlight. So it's you can do it inside, it's fine. In fact, a lot of these cameras now are pretty good at low light videography. But if you do, outside is always much more interesting. All right, so it's not like just the wall or something. You can see the trees and you can see the surroundings, and it often says a lot more about you and your context if you do it outside. But if you do it outside, don't have the sun directly in your eyes. Okay, the reason why is it puts shadows on your face. So your cheekbones and your eye sockets throw shadows onto your face, and then sometimes some of your features just disappear into the shadows. All right, so try not to film in direct sunlight. Seek out well-lit environment. Position the subject in the shade. So if you're outside, make sure that you're in the shade rather than in the sun. The light source should be behind the videographer. So if you are filming, the sun should be in front of you. So the idea then is, let me get this right. Yes, the subject, which is you, should face the light source. So even if it's the sun, that's cool. If it is a light source inside the house, make sure that you are facing the light and it's not behind you. If it's behind you, then quite often it is so strong that you become a black blob, just one big silhouette. Okay, and that's no good either. So there should be no distractions in the background, nor any objects growing out of the subject's body. For example, make sure that there's no taps or telephone poles or anything growing out of the person's head. Make sure that you've positioned the subject so that there are no distractions. Okay, composition. You can get away with sticking yourself or your subject in the center. However, if you want it to look professional, we advise you use the rule of thirds. And I see Shauna says, I notice you are using the rule of thirds as you taught in the workshop at the Savoy. Okay, so I've taught them this as well. So yes, what is the rule of thirds? The rule of thirds is in your viewfinder, divide the space, the area into these thirds. There's your vertical thirds, there's your horizontal thirds. And then where they intersect is the sweet spots. So you can see here the leopard, we're trying to get him to sit on the first vertical third, and that his head is ideally close to the top horizontal third. Okay, so if you go back to here, you see this is what I was trying to do. I wasn't quite perfect, but instead of putting myself in the middle, I put myself on the, let's just get it a bit bigger. Got myself to, close your mouth. Oh, that's even worse. Oh, well, that'll have to do. So you can see I was trying to be on the line of the thirds, the first vertical and the top third. That also gave me some space. So then I could put things on the screen. So you can see how my course objectives were appearing on the space that was on the right-hand side. And if we go back earlier, I was putting examples of the work that I've done. And again, I had some nice space there. So keep that in mind. Notice, if you have positioned the subject on the first vertical third, they should face towards the second. So what I mean here is, you see the leopard? If he was looking to the left, then it would look odd. Okay, it would look out of balance. But the fact that he's looking into the picture, he's looking right, means that it looks much more balanced. Okay, so if we wanted to go back to this picture, what I could have done differently is I could have positioned my shoulders so that I looked into the space here rather than straight onto the camera. Okay, so keep that in mind. Look for an interesting background. There shouldn't be anything to distract the viewers. And then finally, if you're going to use a panning shot, if you're going to use movement, I just kept the camera still. And I think you should for your first one, unless you've got some experience. But if you, I would go keep it still. But if you are going to move, make sure that it's nice and smooth and deliberate. So don't rush it. If you're going to pan nice and smooth and unrushed. I'm going to show you an example and I want you to critique it. There are some good things about this example. And there are some things that are not so great. So just search. Search. What happened to the search button? Watch. There we go. Search. All right, so I'm going to play you this video and I want you to have a look at it and I want you to tell me what works well and what doesn't work well.
You can't hear.
All right, that's part of the problem is the sound is very bad. She's going through the core structure. All right, so in the chat, I want you to now tell me what works and what was not so great. Oh. All right, so Shauna says she is using the rule of thirds. You can see she is. She's actually sitting on the right-hand side instead of the left this time, but it looks nicely composed, so that's nice. I see Joycelyn mentions that there are people walking around. Yes, the cleaners are banging brushes and so on, which is distracting. All right. Shauna says she should have tested the sound. Yes, she's a bit too faint. And then, of course, we've got the problems with Zoom and so on. So it's not great sound. And they should have boosted the sound. Vicky also points out there's a distraction in the background. In fact, there is. There's twice. There's this lady at the moment, and then there's another lady who pops in. Where is it? Oh, okay. And there we go. That's the second lady who walks into the thing. Yes, I see Tony says people moving at the back and the sound is not good. Did you notice also there's an air conditioner sticking out of her head? Around here, looks like she's got an air conditioner stuck in her ear. Okay. Farouk saying that she's sitting on the left and she's also facing slightly left. Her shoulders are facing towards the left, right? She should really have her Sorry, her shoulders are facing towards the right. She should really have them facing into the picture. Okay, she's looking up. Yeah, then the camera is slightly lower than her eyes. Okay, the reason why was that they were balancing it on the back of the chair because they wanted to keep it still. So they got it still, but it's not quite high enough. They should have maybe have found something that's a bit taller. Okay, there's also a bucket here. I'm not quite sure if that's detraction. And then I'd shown this video many times, and then someone said, oh, she's got wings. So she's got these green wings, so she looks like an angel. I must confess, I hadn't noticed that. So maybe that's not too serious, but it looks like she's angelic. She's got green wings. Okay. All right, do you think you can do better? Oh, the other thing, you couldn't hear so clearly, but she sounds a little bit disinterested. Okay, so I think she was a bit daunted by the whole affair, and so she doesn't come across very enthusiastic. So I would say your manner needs to be a little bit more animated. She's a little bit too still, and her voice is a little bit disinterested. So I want you to be more animated in your one. Okay. Shauna said she's already had a go, but now that she's heard a few little tips, she might redo it. Okay. Up to you. If you feel that you can improve, that sounds good. All right. So once you've filmed it, we are doing a cheat. We're expecting you to get it right in camera in one take. That's why it's only 60 seconds. Okay. And there are video editing apps. And if you feel you'd like to have a go at those, please have a go. However, the brief is to try and get it all in one shot. So that's why it's only 60 seconds. 60 seconds, one shot. And I want you to see if you can improve on Maba video. All right. So how do you get it onto YouTube? So to get it onto YouTube, let's just go back to YouTube here. You'll see you got to, once you're in YouTube, you've got this little, make sure that you've logged in, use your Gmail account, your Google account. If you have a Gmail account, you've already got a YouTube account. So make sure that you've logged in. Okay. And then you can manage your Google account. And then once your little picture's here, you'll see you have this button here. So you can go create and you can go upload the video. So if you've got it on your phone, the app, so don't take it off the phone. Make sure your YouTube app is on the phone, right? It's much easier. And then you can just upload it straight from the phone to the YouTube. And then once it's up, let me just show, I've got a ton of them. You can see I turned it up. Right, let's get some more interesting one than that one. All right. All right, so once you can see that it's been rendered, it takes a little bit of time. So once you've uploaded it, it's not available immediately. You have to let it chew on it a little bit, and then finally it appears in your channel, and then you can come in here. So then I want you to go to share, and I want you to say, I want you to embed. And then you collect, you make sure you get this code, you go copy. And then when you're in Moodle, you can turn on the editing on. You can go to where it must appear. You go to add an activity or a resource. And I like to go for the label. You can just bung it straight in, and most Moodle installations will turn it into a video. All right. So, but I like to go to the label. I like to turn it on, and I like to go to the HTML button, and then I just paste the code in there. And then I can say save and return. And then you'll see your little video. Hang on, let's just make this a bit smaller. Oh, that's, sorry, the screen's a bit crushed. Then you'll see you have a little window in the label, and you can sit in there. All right. And then the other way you can do it is go back to here. Instead of embedding, just go to share and copy the URL. So here's the URL. You can just go copy. And then when you're in Moodle, you can go to add an activity or a resource. And you can, okay, I'll go for a label. And you can just paste it in like that. And then you can go save and return. On this one, it doesn't do it. You just try that again. You just check. There we go. So this one at the top here is slightly bigger, and I'd like it slightly bigger. If you just paste the live link into anywhere in your, you can do a page, you can do a label, anywhere. If it's a live link, it'll turn it into this little viewer here. I think it's too little, and they always center it. I don't like it in the center. I like it on the left and so on. So I think you get more control if you use the embed code and you stick it in a label. But hey, up to you. I don't care. As long as you come up with an original piece of content, that would be cool. And I want to see you embed it into your Moodle course. All right. Are there any questions for this week in terms of the little assignment? All right, so I want you to continue to start, make sure your structure is in place. Make sure that you've got your objectives in your particular areas. And then I want you to start loading some content in. There should be a quiz as well. Last week, we asked you to do a quiz. We're going to have a look at them now. Let's see how many of you got your quizzes working. But for next week, I want to see some video that you have created. So yeah, let's see what you can get up to. I'm just going to delete all this because this is my reference stuff. All right. Any questions? Oh, hang on. How do I add content to the video? You mean like the little... All right. So I use a program called Camtasia. Let me show you. But you can use any video editing suite. My favorite editing suite is not on my PC, it's on my iPad. I like to edit on my iPad. It's called LumaFusion, but I don't think most of you will have access to that. All right, so this is Camtasia, but there are many, many, many. There's Canva, there's Powtoons, there's, if you're on a Windows setup, they often have, what's the video recorder? Oh, my mind's gone. But what I do here is I import some video. I can add the video in. I can then drag it onto my timeline. And there's a little bit, let's make it a bit bigger. Sorry, it's a very old thing. All right, and now the question was, how do you now put on your little tags? So in this program, I mean, they're all different, but on this program, I can then just drag onto the screen at the point I want it to appear, and I can go content 1, and then I can go a little bit further and I can say then I want content 2 to appear. And then I can say at the next opportunity, I want something else to appear. All right, and so at the moment then, my thing looks like this. Okay, so that piece of content you'll have to develop in, you can't do it on your phone in your camera. You'd have to then put it into some type of a video editing suite. All right. I don't need, if you speak animatedly and you're excited about your course and you speak clearly, you don't have to do that for the assignment. But if you feel that's something that you've got an idea how you might do it, then please have a go and stick those things in. Let's see what the comments are. Do we have to present the video if the course ourselves, or can we get somebody else to do it? I don't. If you feel there's another presenter who is better, or another presenter who is going to be offering the course, then yeah, you can use a second person if you want. You can film them, but I want you involved. All right, I want you either to be the camera person or the script writer or the filmer or whatever. Okay. All right. Shauna says we can have a look at her video in a minute and we can do some constructive criticism. Joycelyn was the one asked, how do I add the little labels and all that type of thing? And she says, thank you. All right. Are there any other questions or queries about the little week assignment? Shauna has asked, do you have to upload it to YouTube? The answer is yes. I want you to understand how YouTube works. It's free. You can make your videos private if you don't want people to see them. But we will need to see them. So I'd rather you, instead of making them private, I want you to make them unlisted. So let me just show you that. It's a good point. So you'll notice that when you are in your channel and you're looking at all of your videos, all right, you can, no, shush. You'll see you've got a, you can either do it after you've created your video, and then you can go to edit the video, or while you're uploading it for the first time, you'll be offered the same piece of advice, and you get this type of screen where you have to then add in information. Where it says visibility, it says it's public, but you can say unlisted. Don't choose private, otherwise I can't see it and your colleagues in this course can't see it. All right, it really is private. If you choose private, only you can see it. And that's no good for sharing. So for sharing amongst your mates and your friends, choose unlisted. And that way the Google search engines don't find it and then realize it's not for public consumption. It's just for a small group of people. So then you choose unlisted. If you choose public, it means everyone out there in the entire world can see it if they dig deep enough. Admittedly, there's a lot of content to get through, but yeah, it is available if you go for public. All right, so go for unlisted. And then when you copy those URLs, only people who have the link can actually access the video. So that's a good point. Shauna, do we have to upload it to YouTube or can we paste it directly? The advantage of putting it on YouTube is that the YouTube server streams better. So Moodle's not very good at streaming. So it means that it's very jerky and it will stop and start and so on if you use Moodle. If you use YouTube, then rather than stop, it just makes the picture more grainy, but keeps the thing play. All right, so therefore it's a much more intelligent video server, YouTube. So that tends to look better and behave better if it's on YouTube. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay, let's have a look at a few of these. Let me just get rid of some of this. All right, I want to have a look at our courses. So I'm just, we're actually not on TEL, it's on LMS. So I'm here. All right, Shauna, which is your course again? Plant needs. Oh, we've got lots of plant needs. Is it this one? Is this the right one? Okay, not this one. Let's. Is it this one? Introduction. Okay, what Shauna, excellent. Well done. I like your enthusiasm. You got stuck in, you were well prepared, you had all your labels and all your props in place. Well done. Really, really nice. How can we maybe improve it? Shauna said that she doesn't mind having another go. Based on your experience and what we've discussed today, what do people think could be done differently? Be nice. Be nice. All right. So what do people think we could advise to make it go to the next level? Because it's very, very good, very excellent first start. I'm very impressed. In the chat, can you put in any advice based on what we've discussed today and what you've maybe have thought in the past? Come on. All right, I will. So this is more than just an introduction. So it's not just head and shoulders, just someone talking. It is a demonstrating what the students have to do. All right. So I like the fact that it was well prepared, that everything was labeled, and that you demonstrated what had to be done. I just think that you did yourself a disservice by not getting in closer. So your photographer needs to zoom in. So it doesn't always have to have you as the presenter in screen. You can then go to sample A so they can see more clearly what you've written there. So what did the little labels say? And what did the little cinnamon plants look like? And so on. So I would think it could be improved by moving in and getting close-ups of the actual materials that were required for the experiment. Okay. The camera did move a little bit. So the photographer got tired and it got wobbly. Okay. So maybe find somewhere where you can either rest it so that you don't have to hold it still. It wasn't bad, but sometimes the exposure changed. It's got an automatic exposure. So sometimes everything went a bit white and then you couldn't see the detail. So again, maybe a little bit of a bit more control over the camera. I think the box with the holes in, I think you should have even gone in so we can see how big are the holes in the box. Because when the students are trying to do it themselves, I mean, they heard you say it, but they couldn't really see all the holes, etc. So again, some close-ups of the resource. Now, you can still do it in one take if you want. So maybe put it on a selfie stick, and then you can move the camera in and then move back out to get you again and then move in. I think I showed you that example of the lady with the steam and the ice. Did I show you that example? Let me just show you what I'm talking about. It is sitting. It is sitting. Where is it? Here. Yes. So can you still see the screen? So this is an example of a one take, but the camera moves. Yes, that's right. You've seen this. But notice the camera gets right in there. In fact, they had it on a selfie stick. So they were able to like put the phone right in the bucket of ice and then come out and then go back in, etc. All right. So don't, if the camera is going to move, remember what I said, it must be deliberate, but nice and controlled. So then go in, go smoothly out, can go back to your face, then back to the experiment and come in. You can still do it all in one take. And it doesn't look horrible. It's, let's have a look. And notice it'll go back to her face. All right, so don't feel that you have to have a fancy editing suite, but you do have to have a nice controlled hand, and so that you can get the camera, the phone to go in and out and move around, maybe use a selfie stick just to give a little bit of control, because then you can stick it in the pot and in the box and so on. All right, cool. Very nice. In your one, let's just go back in. So you're in the middle. That's not a bad thing in this instance, because when you pull out and you actually start to see the experiment, see, we would like to have seen more here. And you can see it's slightly overexposed. So it's hard to see the detail, which that's a better shot. That's a better shot, but he didn't keep it for, the photographer didn't keep it for very long. And I would have gone in so we can see the labels more clearly. But hey, this is great. This is good stuff, Shauna. You're doing a nice job here. All right. Any other feedback for Shauna on her course? All right. Okay. Well done. Very impressive. Great first shot. Yeah, I agree with Joycelyn. Excellent. All right. Okay. So we're running out of time again. We're down to just 6 minutes. So let me very quickly show you what you're supposed to be doing this week in terms of the materials. Where we going? Oh. Sorry, let me just call it up. Okay, so we're week 4. We're looking at the learning resources. We've got a little video for you to have a look at. Here's your instruction things. It's got a couple of links it wants you to go and have a look at. Blah, blah, blah. In the book, it's telling you to go and have a look in the book. So let's go have a look at that. Here. All right. So here's your main information, most of your theory, etc. And it tells you about overview of integrating resources into your course using Moodle. So that's your Moodle page. Here is the little section on OERs. There's a little reading. Here's all those things about the licenses, which if you're not up to speed, you need to have a look at that. So there's a little thing on there. And yeah, okay, cool. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get back here. Then we've got a PDF for you to have a look at. We've got an evaluation checklist, a little quiz, and then, but what I want to see next week are your videos. All right, we're going to make a big fuss of your videos next week. So now I want you to build those not on the site, but on the LMS MBA site. Okay, it doesn't look like that for you, only for me, it's a mess. All right, so these are the courses. You should have one of these as your course, and I want you to go in. Let's have a look, is that taking shape? Not really. What else we got? Okay, this is taking shape quite nicely. All right, so this one on rivers. You can see they're loading in all this existing content. We've got PowerPoint presentations. We've got some websites. We've got some Word documents. We've got the quizzes are beginning to take shape as well. And so what we'd like to see for next week for this one, for example, is a little introductory video, which you can embed either at the top here or early in the course where you describe what's going on. Or I like what Shauna did. If you've got an example of where you want to show them some rivers or something, yeah, do a little part of your lesson where you demonstrate something. That would be even more interesting than an introduction. But for most of us, an introduction is enough. All right. So that is the work for next week. Can you please work on those? And yeah, we can have some fun next week when we have a look at your videos. Okay, cool. Any queries, any questions? Again, thank you very much, everyone. And thank you for putting up with me. I have no excuse. I really, the time just went past and I didn't even think. So it's not like that I was away or anything. I was sitting right here, working away. And next thing I knew, I was late. So I do apologize. And thank you very much for accommodating me and meeting me this evening. So that's is appreciated. Okay, and see Shauna is saying, yep, where's your lot? Where's your videos? Okay, so we'll see those next week. Good, thank you. It's coming up for, oh, is it 8 o'clock your time? Is that right? 6, 5. Because it's how many hours? It's 2 hours different. So fine. It's 7 o'clock. Shame. All right. Go ahead and have a life. It's 7 in the Seychelles, says Gina. Cool. All right. I will see you next week. I'm very excited to see what you make. And yeah, we will see you then. You're free to go. Thank you very much.